Can you imagine reaching 90 or even 100 years old, with your back straight, without hunching as you walk, without depending on a cane, without that constant pain that many assume is an inevitable part of aging? Imagine being able to get up every morning without stiffness, without needing to press your hands on your thighs to stand up, and with enough energy to move freely throughout the day. Although at first glance it may sound like fantasy, it isn't. There are people who have achieved exactly that. Not thanks to sophisticated medications or expensive medical procedures. They have achieved it through something much simpler, everyday, and within everyone's reach: conscious eating. One of the most inspiring cases is that of Dr. Elena Miró. Physiotherapist, researcher, and a reference in postural health, Elena has dedicated more than 45 years of her life to the study of healthy aging. In all that time, she has treated thousands of elderly people, many of whom arrived at her clinic with common problems: chronic back pain, progressive hunching, stiffness in the lower back, and even difficulty walking. But the most surprising thing is not the number of patients she has treated, but the results she has achieved. With small modifications in diet, accompanied by some sustainable habits, many of these people have recovered mobility, stability, and even confidence when walking. These are not miracles, but the application of what science has already proven: that certain nutrients can regenerate tissues, reduce inflammation, and strengthen the bone structure naturally. And the most striking thing is that she herself is the living proof of her method. At 94 years old, Dr. Elena maintains a firm posture, walks with agility, and does not suffer back pain. Her energy is contagious, her body speaks for itself. What is her secret? It is not a treatment reserved for a few. It is not magic pills or extreme exercises. It is simply the strategic use of 3 key foods. Foods that not only strengthen the spine from within, but also regenerate the intervertebral discs, reduce chronic inflammation, and increase flexibility in the entire body. For years, this knowledge was limited to her private consultations, but today, thanks to the spreading of her work, more people can access this valuable information backed by decades of experience and scientific support. In this video, you are going to discover exactly what those 3 key foods are that transformed the life of Dr. Elena Miró and of hundreds of her patients. I will explain to you how they act directly on your spine, what changes they produce at the muscular, joint, and bone level, and how you can incorporate them in a simple and practical way into your daily diet without needing to make great sacrifices or follow complicated diets. But that's not all. At the end of the video, I will reveal to you how Dr. Elena herself consumes them, exact quantities, strategic combinations, and ideal times to make the most of their benefits. These are details that can make a big difference in the results and that very few people know. And if you are watching this video, probably there is something that has brought you here. Maybe you feel that your back is no longer the same as before. That after sitting for a while, you start to feel a discomfort that wasn't there a few years ago. Or that walking upright requires more and more effort. Perhaps you have noticed that you hunch slightly without realizing it, or that you need to stretch more often to relieve a tension that becomes constant. You are not alone. These kinds of sensations are more common than you think, but the most important thing is that they don't have to be permanent. There are solutions, and they are closer than you believe. So, before continuing, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Here we share valuable information based on science and real experience, focused on improving your health, prolonging your well-being, and helping you live each stage of your life to the fullest. Now then, let's dive into the topic. Why do we hunch as the years go by? The answer is more complex than it seems, but understanding it is essential to know how to act. The back, although many times we take it for granted, is the true structural axis of our body. It is the column that supports us, that keeps us in balance, and that makes each movement, from walking to breathing, possible. It is made up of vertebrae, discs, ligaments, and muscles that work in harmony. However, with the passing of time, this harmony begins to deteriorate. The muscles that surround the spine lose strength, the intervertebral discs dehydrate and compress, and the vertebrae begin to come closer together. All this gives rise to a hunched posture, loss of flexibility, and pains that become more frequent and limiting. It is not just a matter of aesthetics or comfort, it is a problem that directly affects our quality of life, our mobility, and our independence. This weakening process, although many times assumed as an inevitable part of aging, is not irreversible. In fact, it has been shown that the spine can recover part of its flexibility, strength, and stability if one acts with knowledge and consistency. One of the most destructive factors in this deterioration is chronic inflammation, a silent, invisible, but deeply active enemy. This inflammation does not arise out of nowhere. It feeds every day on our habits, especially from an unbalanced diet, prolonged sedentary lifestyle, and the accumulated stress that we let pass as something normal. Little by little, that inflammation erodes the connective tissues, hardens the joints, and hinders the natural regeneration of the body. But here is the good news. With the right nutrients, the body has the capacity to reverse much of that damage. It is possible to strengthen the muscles that surround the spine, regenerate the intervertebral discs, and reduce stiffness until recovering that feeling of lightness that you thought was lost. It is precisely at this point that the 3 key foods that Dr. Elena has systematically used with her patients for decades come into play. Far from complicated formulas or exotic ingredients, these are common, accessible foods, present in any market or neighborhood store. But don't be fooled by their simplicity. These 3 foods, when integrated in the right and regular way into the diet, can generate profound changes in the health of your back. From improving hydration and elasticity of the intervertebral discs, to reducing inflammation in the vertebrae and restoring the muscle tone that supports posture. The key is consistency and the correct combination. And that is exactly what we are going to explore from now on. The first food, chia seeds. Maybe you've seen them in supermarkets, in social media recipes, or even consumed them sometime without really knowing what they can do for you. But the truth is that, despite their tiny size, chia seeds are a true nutritional jewel. They are packed with plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, bioavailable calcium, and magnesium, 3 fundamental nutrients for the health of your spine. Omega-3 is known for its ability to reduce inflammation in joints and soft tissues, something essential when we are talking about vertebrae and intervertebral discs. Calcium, for its part, keeps the bone structure solid and resistant to wear, while magnesium favors muscle contraction and relaxation, avoiding stiffness and spasms so common in the lower back area. Dr. Elena suggests consuming 1 tablespoon daily, preferably previously hydrated, in natural yogurts, green smoothies, or even in homemade preparations like breads or puddings. It is not just about adding chia to your diet, but about doing it in a strategic and sustained way, as part of a comprehensive care routine for your back. The second food, broccoli. Although many don't enjoy its taste since childhood, this cruciferous vegetable is one of the best natural allies you can offer your spine. Why is it so powerful? Because its nutritional profile is specifically oriented to strengthen and protect the bone structure and connective tissues. Broccoli contains high concentrations of vitamin K, an essential nutrient for calcium fixation in the bones. This means that you are not only providing calcium to the body, but you are helping that calcium stay where it is really needed, in the vertebrae, reinforcing their density and resistance. In addition, this vegetable is itself a plant-based source of calcium, which makes it a key food especially for people who do not consume dairy. As if that were not enough, its load of natural antioxidants, such as sulforaphane and lutein, fights the oxidative damage suffered by soft tissues over time, helping to preserve flexibility and prevent joint wear. Dr. Elena recommends consuming it at least 3 times a week, preferably steamed to preserve its nutrients, although you can also sauté it lightly with olive oil or enjoy it raw in salads if you prefer more texture. The third essential food is not technically a food, but its impact is so direct and profound on the health of the back that it deserves a privileged place: hydrolyzed collagen. Collagen is the most abundant structural protein in our body. It is present in the skin, in tendons, in ligaments, and very especially in the intervertebral discs that cushion each movement of our spine. The problem is that, starting around 25 or 30 years old, our natural production of collagen begins to gradually decrease. And with the years, that deficit manifests itself in the form of stiffness, loss of elasticity, and pain. Hydrolyzed collagen is a processed version of this protein, designed to be quickly absorbed by the body. By integrating it into your diet, you help regenerate connective tissue, improve the elasticity of the spine, and reduce the feeling of morning stiffness that many experience upon waking. Dr. Elena recommends consuming it dissolved in warm water, preferably on an empty stomach, to facilitate its assimilation and allow it to act from the early hours of the day, when the body is most receptive. These three components, chia seeds, broccoli, and hydrolyzed collagen, act as a synergistic trio that strengthens your back from within. They are not magic solutions, nor do they replace healthy habits, but when integrated correctly and consistently, they create a kind of nutritional shield that protects your spine from wear, accelerated aging, and chronic pain. That said, it is not enough to consume them occasionally or disorderly. The key is regularity and knowing how to combine them strategically, in such a way that they enhance each other and their effects are maintained over time. For example, a simple but powerful routine to start the day could make a big difference in the health of your back. Imagine waking up and, before drinking coffee or looking at your phone, drinking a glass of warm water with a dose of hydrolyzed collagen. This small gesture activates the digestive system, hydrates the body after the nighttime fast, and delivers directly to your connective tissues the amino acids they need to regenerate. Then, at breakfast, incorporate a natural yogurt without added sugars, accompanied by antioxidant-rich fruits, such as blueberries or slices of kiwi, and a tablespoon of previously hydrated chia seeds. This combination not only strengthens muscles and bones, but also regulates digestion and provides sustained energy. At lunchtime, including steamed broccoli as a side dish, together with some source of lean protein like fish, turkey, or tofu, is an effective way to continue nourishing your spine from within. And throughout the day, keeping yourself hydrated with water and, if you wish, anti-inflammatory infusions such as ginger or turmeric, will facilitate that the nutrients are adequately distributed throughout the body and reach the tissues that need them most. The results do not take long when one is consistent. Many of Dr. Elena's patients began to notice visible changes in just 4 to 6 weeks of following this routine. Some described how that constant tension in the lower back that accompanied them all day disappeared. Others said that upon getting out of bed they no longer felt that stiffness that before forced them to stretch for several minutes. Several recovered a straighter, more confident posture, and the most important, a significant reduction of chronic pain without the need for painkillers or endless therapy sessions. These results, according to the testimonies, not only improved physical health, but also mood, sleep, and general motivation to continue taking care of themselves. All this thanks to a natural, gradual, and deeply effective approach that demonstrates that the body, when it receives what it needs, can heal and strengthen at any age. Maybe until this moment you thought that having a hunched back, feeling discomfort when sitting or standing up, or depending on orthopedic pillows was a normal part of aging. Maybe you even resigned yourself to living with those pains, believing that it was already too late to change. But the truth is another. Science and clinical experience are demonstrating that not only is it possible to stop that deterioration, it can also be reversed. Each food you choose, each small action you take, each new habit you adopt, can become a powerful tool to restore your spine, improve your mobility, and gain quality of life. You are not condemned by your age or by your genetics. You are empowered by your decision to start taking care of your body from today. You don't need to transform your life overnight or follow a strict diet to notice changes. It is about starting with something small, manageable, concrete. Maybe with just one meal a day that includes one of these 3 foods. Or maybe with that first glass of water with collagen each morning. The important thing is to begin. Because each conscious choice you make, each new habit you decide to incorporate, is a powerful signal to your body. It is like telling it, I am here to take care of you, and the wonderful thing is that the body responds. sometimes sooner than we imagine. You start to feel more energetic when getting up, with less discomfort from sitting for a long time, with greater confidence when walking. Little by little, the pain subsides, stiffness decreases, and confidence returns. And then you realize, it wasn't age, it was the lack of adequate nutrients. It wasn't destiny, it was the habit. Now I ask you, which of these 3 foods is already part of your routine? And which one would you like to start incorporating from today? Tell me in the comments. I will love to read you, to know how you live this process, and to accompany you on this path towards a stronger back and a life with less pain. Sometimes, sharing our small victories, like sleeping again without discomfort or being able to walk more upright, is a way of inspiring others who are going through the same thing. Remember, this space is for you, to learn, to grow, and to heal together. If this video has been useful to you, if it has made you reflect or has given you concrete tools to improve your health, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. This way you make sure not to miss the next content about health, nutrition, longevity, and well-being. Your support also allows us to continue creating valuable content for more people who, like you, want to age with dignity, energy, and fullness. And if you want to keep learning, I invite you to watch this other video that I leave here, where we explore more natural strategies to rejuvenate your joints, recover your mobility, and keep yourself active at any age. It is a perfect guide to complement what you learned today and to continue strengthening your body from the inside out. Click now and join me on that journey. Always remember this: it is never too late to start taking care of yourself. It is never too late to improve. What you do today, no matter how small it may seem, will be your best investment for the future. Because a straight back not only reflects health, it reflects dignity, strength, and the will to live each day to the fullest. See you in the next video.